The Perks of Being a Wallflower is written by Stephen Chbosky in 1999, and we follow Charlie all through the story. Charlie's letters give us an intimate look into his life, his thoughts, fears, hopes, and his all too often weak mental state. And during this presentation, we wanted to tell you about, in the beginning, the characters, and then setting, and in the end, about message and theme.
Charlie is the main character of the book. He is 15 years old, but he turns 16 the 24th of December. He lives in Pennsylvania with his parents and his older sister. His older brother is away for college, but in the beginning of the book, he lived with them too. In the start, Charlie doesn't feel well about going to school because he feels lonely, and when he feels lonely, he starts to think about unimportant stuff. Charlie isn't like other teenagers at his age. He doesn't have the same interest as them, the same music taste, or he doesn't like the same TV shows as them. In the book, they mention a lot about Charlie's music taste. He likes music from the 60s to the 90s, and he is making, or his passion is making videotapes. He has a favorite band, which is the Smiths, and his favorite song is Asleep, which is written by them. Charlie is a very quiet boy, and he doesn't have a lot of friends. In the book, he talks mostly about his friend Michael, who died in the middle school. Charlie had a lot of social problems, but he's lucky to have an English teacher, Bill. His English teacher tells him to participate in the social environment. Bills want him to participate because they recognize that Charlie thinks too much about everything. Do you always think this much, Charlie? It's that bad? I just want something to tell me the truth. Not necessarily. It's just that something people use thought to not participate in life. Is that bad? Yes. I think I participate though. Don't you think I am? Well, are you dancing at these dances? I'm not a very good dancer. Are you going on dates? Well, I don't have a car, and I even did. I can drive because I'm 15. And anyway, I haven't met a girl I like except for Sam. But I'm too young for her, and she will always have to drive, which I don't think is fair. Bill smiled and continued asking me questions. Bill is very worried about Charlie because he knows that Charlie is a nice and special guy. Bill starts giving Charlie some extra stuff.
Charlie and Bill have a great and special relationship, and Bill invites Charlie to visit Bill and his girlfriend at their home in the end of the book, and he says following words: Charlie, please don't take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to make you feel uncomfortable. I just want you to know that you're very special, and the only reason I'm telling you this is that I don't know if anyone else ever has.
The book confirms what Bill thinks about Charlie. He thinks that Charlie is a very special boy and that he's one of the smartest person he ever met. Bill tells us this because he isn't sure that anyone else had told Charlie that he is so special and smart. He thinks that it's important that Charlie knows this because Bill thinks that Charlie have to know that he's something good even though he's special. Before Charlie left Bill and his girlfriend, Bill tells him that he will always care about Charlie and Charlie can always call him as a friend if you need anything. And maybe Bill knows that something's wrong in the family and that Charlie isn't special without a reason. Instead of keeping the same teenage boy without friends, he develops to much older Ribbon and Whisper boy, but still as special as before. Maybe that is the one thing he never will change. Charlie met some friends, Sam and Patrick. They spend a lot of time together in and after school. Sam and Patrick accept Charlie for the person he was. Charlie, even though he is a special and strange boy and younger than themselves, his mood changed each day depending how much they talk. An example of Charlie's feelings can be at Christmas when Sam and Patrick leave to Grand Canyon. At first, he is very happy because Sam kissed him before they left. And the next stop, he feels very sad. He says,
"It almost happened this morning, but I thought of Sam's kiss and it went away. I probably shouldn't be writing about this too much, because it brings it up too much. It makes me think too much and I'm trying to participate. It's just hard because Sam and Patrick are in the Grand Canyon." They also mention in the book that Charlie hopes that Sam and Patrick would call him on his birthday, and that will makes him feel a lot better. But they didn't call him, and Charlie just got worse. The quotes also indicate that Charlie likes them a lot and that he appreciates to have them as his friends. But we guess maybe Charlie is afraid of losing them as his friends, because every time they aren't close to him, he starts feeling sad and lonely and starts thinking about too much.
Charlie changes a lot throughout the story, and Sam and Patrick have a big influence at his development. In the beginning, Charlie doesn't know anything about girls or parties or teenage life. The book mentioned a lot of times Charlie's uncertain personality, where he asks for advices from Sam and Patrick. Charlie tries not to be a freak. Charlie tries to be a freak and to participate. And everything is not working out. At page 28, his sister says, "You're a freak. You know that? You've always been a freak. Everyone says so. They always have. I'm trying not to be." And then he turns around and walks into his room and think about what just happened. This is an example at what people in the beginning of the book think of him, and it also indicates a bit of Charlie and his sister's bad relationship. The book mentored a lot of Charlie's development. He went on dates and to parties with alcohol and drugs involved. On page 108, he asked Sam and Patrick for his first cigarette, and then he moves on and didn't stop smoking again. Sam and Patrick had also some other friends with guess Charlie's friends too. The circle of friends is very social and a kind of special in the way they use alcohol and drugs and cigarette as a part of going through their problems by growing up. They don't judge people before they know them.
Charlie's family didn't know anything about the drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes, but one night when Charlie went home from a party, he discovered his sister crying in the basement. She wouldn't tell him what was happening, but she did in the end anyway. She told him that she was pregnant and that she didn't know what to do. Charlie helped her and went with her to a clinic to get an abortion, and the same day his sister discovered Charlie smoking in the car, which she got very mad of because she didn't want him to do that. And they decided not to tell anything about the smoking or the abortion to their parents because of both of their secrets. And at this part, Charlie and his sister started building up a great relationship. And in the end, when Charlie's sister graduates, she kisses him on the cheek, which Charlie went very happy. Charlie, because of the kiss, he got very happy, and because of she had never did that before. This shows us that their relationship had developed a lot during the story.
Charlie has been in love with Sam since he saw her the first time. But Sam is not in love with Charlie, and she goes on other dates with a guy, Craig. She doesn't want Charlie to think of her in that way, but he keeps loving her, and that's a problem. And in the end, at the graduation party, Sam kisses him and repay his love. At page 24, they say, Sam, I'm thinking about you that way. She just looked at me and shook her head. Then she put her arm around my shoulder and walked me down the hallway. And at page 51, to tell you the truth, I love Sam. It's not a movie kind of love either. I just look at her sometimes and I think she's the prettiest and nicest person in the whole world. She's also very smart and fun. And the thing is that Sam is now going out with a boy named Craig. Craig is older than my brother.
The story takes place in the States because we can see Charlie get his driving license when he turned 16 years old. The school system is more different. In USA, you are going to high school or you're going to college. In high school or college, you are going to say Mr. and Mrs. to the teachers. And in the book, they also talk about Thanksgiving, which is a very important celebration for every family in the States.
Throughout the story, we didn't hear anything about the location of the main city, but they mentioned in the book that the location in the state is 2 hours away from Ohio. The author is from Pennsylvania, which makes sense that the location in the story is in Pennsylvania too. We think that it's a good method that the story isn't located well, because the story relates to people in the same situation as Charlie maybe, and I can tell you this by this quote. I mean nothing bad by this, honest. I just need you to know that someone out there listens and understands and doesn't try to sleep with people even if they could have. I need to know that these people exist. I think if all you people would understand that, because I think of all people are alive and appreciate what that means. By the quote, we think that the story is very open and receptive for other children who maybe are in the same situation as Charlie. And the story is good for people who can relate to the same things, and also people who doesn't feel the same depressive things as Charlie.
Charlie's family doesn't have a lot of money, and in the States you don't get as much help from the government as you get in Denmark. We know that they are a middle-class family by a quote Charlie says to his sister's graduation.
Hears music on cassette tape and mix cassette tape together. And we can also say on the dates and years on every letter Charlie writes. The letter also indicates the story, and the time span in the history is from 25 August to 1991 to 23 August 1992.
Once, after he hit Charlie, he felt very stupid and he said to himself that he will never do that again. The book mentioned this by a quote. He never touched my brother or sister, and the only time he ever slapped me was when I made my Aunt Helen cry. And once we all calmed down, he got on his knees in front of me and said that his stepdad hit him a lot, and he decided in college when my mom got pregnant with my older brother that he would never hit his kids. And he felt terrible for doing it, and he was so sorry, and he will never hit me again, and he hasn't. This is a sign about social environment, and we think that the Charlie's father's childhood have had a big effect on what he did and what his Aunt Helen did to Charlie.
With men who were involved in drugs and alcohol, and she didn't have a lot of success with her love life or her childhood too. And we think that's why we think that her experiences as a child had an effect on what she did to Charlie, and we think that that's why she didn't know that it was a completely mistake. The main theme is growing up. Growing up is the main theme because we are follow the characters grow up. They are all going through different teenage problems. Through the teenage development, we are following their try to find an identity. This is shown in the book by different things they are going to testing because they check out drugs and sexuality.
We think a sub-theme to the story can be issues of sexuality because Patrick and Brad is gays, and because Charlie helps Patrick a lot when he's sad because of Brad. And Patrick started to kiss Charlie in the car after they went to the park for gays, and Charlie just let him, and he didn't stop him or anything. And this maybe indicate that Charlie is a little bit insecure about himself and his identity and sexuality. A second sub-theme can be diversity because Charlie is a lot different compared to his friends and other teenagers at his age, and Charlie's circle of friends is a group who doesn't judge people by who they are, and they doesn't judge Charlie even though he is special, and it did just let them be who they are and respect that. It makes space to diversity.
A third sub-theme is depression. This is shown through the whole book by reading Charlie's thoughts and by knowing how he acts around other people. We think that depression can be connected with social environment. Like mentioned before, some people in Charlie's family had some problems by violent relationships, and to their violent relationships to their parents, and afterward they led it to Charlie. And we think that has affected Charlie in a bad way, and it's the reason why he thinks so much and why he has some depressive thoughts all the way through the book. Adversity and depression is a big part of growing up, and everybody has a way to get through it, which we think is one of the message in the story. Charlie and his friends use drugs and alcohol to cope with stress of growing up.
The second message in the story is based on Charlie's manner and development, and a quote says, "Don't judge others because you never know what they have been through." And everybody judged Charlie in the beginning of the story, and they said that he was a freak and very special. And he is very special, but there's a reason why, and we didn't know the reason at first, but then now we know, and we know that it had a big influence at his growth. And because of that, we think that respect is a big part of the story, and because even though you're special and unlike everybody else, you're still perfect and still good, and you still have quality.